Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting the like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now this story is a bit of a saga, it goes over several updates. It's from a confused person from the entitled People subreddit, and it says, my ex demanded child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister on her side. Some years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship was bad because she was very controlling and abusive. It ended badly and we broke up. I kept on going with my life, and after some years, I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life with some savings. The thing is, a couple of months after getting my job, my ex contacted me and asked me to talk. I believed that she may want to reconnect or something. Instead, she showed up with a 5-year-old, claiming he was my son and demanding for child support. I didn't believe her, but the child's age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to try and solve this out of court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all of the costs, and be an active part of the kid's life, only after doing a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this, except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded that I just give her the money she deserved. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family to tell them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility for her child. When she ran out of excuses and the DNA test was finally done, surprise, I'm not the father. She was so mad with the result and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it, but she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to last week, there was a little party at my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us. At least, that's what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She had spied on us and heard our conversation and was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for mocking a poor woman. A few hours later, after the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she said how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. My brother and I were like, are you serious? When she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single mother, and that I have a moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we maybe were being cruel making jokes about her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mum then surprised all of us when she said, even if the kid is not yours, you're making more than enough money to support that child. You should have helped her. Since then, I've been receiving texts. My dad and my brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her. But my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mum only said, it's your decision and I respect it. I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish. I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money, and I'm not planning on giving her any. But the constant harassment from my sister trying to guilt me is just exhausting. I think I remember this part of the story and just thinking that what a completely cheeky so-and-so, the absolute audacity in this situation. The fact that your ex refused the DNA test until she absolutely had no other option and tells you everything you need to know. And don't get me wrong, I feel sorry for the kid in this situation because, you know, the kid's the innocent one in this. But as for your mum's disappointment, she's essentially saying that you should financially support a random child who has no connection to you just because you can afford it. By that logic, she should be disappointed in herself for not sending money herself. But the real question is, why is your sister and mum so invested in supporting someone who literally tried to commit fraud against you? But around 6 weeks after this, Opie came in with her first update and said, it's been a while. After my last post, I read all of the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all of the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all of the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and maybe I wasn't his son, if that was the reason she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her, that she decided not to believe me when I told her all of the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. After that, she apologized to me. We are good now. On the other side, my sister, at first, she decided that she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility. But after some days, I spoke to her. She is totally on her side, even after showing her everything. She said that none of that mattered because a woman's word goes first, and that's all the proof anyone could need. Also, she said, even if you are not the biological father, you have a responsibility with her. So you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She's a lost cause. About my ex, I did some research and I found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy. Or maybe she was cheating me with him before, I'm not sure. They broke up some weeks later and she had multiple dates until she found out that she was pregnant. I also found out that she'd been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was the next on the list. It looks like she's desperate now because she was never that aggressive with anyone else before. Now the reason for this post. Some days ago, my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that says, he abandoned his child and irresponsible father, to start drama, saying all their bullshit. Their intention was to shame me and use social pressure to force me to take charge. They literally said it. To not make the story too long, they were escorted out of the place. I had problems, even after showing my proof and legal documents that proved that they were lying. I was warned that this better never happen again, or I'd be fined. After that, I contacted my friend, a lawyer, and we are now redacting a very long detail paper against them. My ex and my sister too. They went too far. Now I'm going against them with everything. Maybe that will scare them enough to leave me alone. So it was approximately 7 weeks after that update, OP came in with another one and said, "Hi everyone, and sorry for the lack of news. Last week has been crazy with a lot of stuff, but I think now is a good moment to update you all. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk about the lawsuit. The most I can share with you is that my ex was extremely freaked out when she found out about it. She is now begging to drop it. She offered to take back everything she said, to never bother or even contact me again. She even tried to guilt me, saying that I'd be ruining her and her son's life. But honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy a long time ago. She messed with me, now I'm fighting back." As for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse. Since her attempt to shame me at my job didn't work, she moved it to social media, spreading her bullshit about my abandoning my child or not taking responsibility, and exposing my legal actions like acts of censorship and misogyny. At the end, it will be worse for her. Not only because I can dismiss her defamation easily, but also there is now more evidence in her favor. Anyways, this is going to be a long road and we are just beginning. Recently we had a posada at my parents' home. I just did a quick Google of posada. It says on Google, by the way, so excuse me if this is wrong. It's a Spanish word. It says meaning inn or lodging, but it also refers to a traditional Mexican Christmas celebration commemorating Mary and Joseph's search for shelter before Jesus' birth. OP story continues. Every year we use this as an excuse to make a big family party before Christmas. I had my doubts because I didn't want to be near my sister. But after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided to go. Big mistake. She was there. Mum decided that despite everything that happened, I was taking this too far, so she wanted all of us to meet to solve this problem as a family. I tried to get out of there the moment I realized what she intended, but some relatives tried to stop me while my mum cried that I needed to stop, that I was tearing apart the family and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I realized that despite everything, even knowing I was telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out of there, telling her that I'm not attending any family event if she is there, and don't ever think of trying this bullshit again. At this point, almost all my family knows what she did. Some others think she is crazy, but I'm taking it too far. A couple of days ago, Mum invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that it wouldn't happen again. Not only did she have plans to do it again, but my brother also warned me that this time she intended to lock me in until I forgive my sister and stop the nonsense. I called my mum and told her I knew and that I was done with her and my sister. I warned her to not talk to me until she realizes that she is supporting the wrong person, and also to apologize. I don't need to say how many times she tried to call me the following hours, and all the drama she made when I didn't show up for Christmas. But again, I'm tired of being the good guy. So that's it for the moment. Hope you all had a nice Christmas, and I wish you a happy and drama-free New Year. So, Opie comes in with another update, a year later, and says, "Hi to all that's still here. It's been a while, more than a year. And I think now is a good time to give an update about everything that happened with my life during the last year. Lots of things happened, lots of things had changed. 1. The lawsuit. To be short, I won. We didn't get into trial. All got solved in conciliation meetings. My lawyer's strategy was to add all the things we could think, from the harassment, the defamation, to attempts to put my job in risk, parental fraud, everything. The idea was to scare the shit out of them, and if that didn't work, there'd be lots of charges against my ex and my sister. My sister kept calling it a bluff and kept posting all of her BS on social media, things she regrets now, as every single word she posted against me came back to bite her ass when it was used as proof. My ex took back everything she said, easier for my forgiveness after she said that she would lose a lot, so she ended up accepting to compensate the damages off court and left my sister alone in a battle she started. When my sister realized how big things really were, that she was alone now and she will lose, she freaked out, deleted every single post she did, tries to pretend that she never did what she did, but at that point we had all the backups, screenshots and recordings we needed. On the last conciliation meeting she broke down crying, begging me to forgive her and don't make her this. She did this to herself. She had multiple chances to stop, but she kept pushing and ended up facing the consequences of her own stupidity. She had to pay me a good amount, plus all the legal costs. My mother helped her to pay, but now she has a considerable debt as my dad demanded her to pay them back over time. For a few months she resented me for what I did, but we ended up talking and getting back on good terms. Our relationship is damaged but healing. She confessed to me. At the beginning, she felt like she was fighting for a good reason, for a cause she believed, to defend the poor woman in need. She believed she was doing the right thing, so she was sure she had to win at the end. Those ideas were supported by her friends, as she said. Those girls were encouraging her to fight, to face me and make me fulfill my obligations. That she was fighting in the name of other women, and those ideas kept on her mind, until things got too real, when she saw there was no way she would win, and all of those girls disappeared. My ex left her alone. All the ones that gave her support wished her luck and go away. She had no other choice but to surrender. So that's how things ended with them. And for the ones who suspected, no, my sister and my ex weren't in a relationship. I don't know where my ex is, and I don't care. She paid and disappeared, and I hope to never see her again. Some people had told me I went too far with her. Even some called me a monster for ruining a single mother who already was in troubles. And some had said, I'm not loyal to my family, for taking this issue far instead of solving it inside the family. At this point, I don't care anymore. 2. My mother. For the months the conciliation lasted, my mum went on my sister's side. Multiple times she tried to convince me to stop, from asking me to just let it go to trying to guilt me for everything she could think. She even threatened to disown me, to say she would not see me as a son anymore, to separate me from the family. But at the end, she couldn't, and was and still is resented. And for all those months, and after all was over, I kept asking myself why she does this, why she kept treating me like this, being on everyone's side except mine. So, after reading multiple people saying to do this, I finally got to do 3. The DNA test. After talking about it with my brother and dad, all agreed it was too rare my mum acted like this, because everything my mum said and implied, my dad had more and more doubts, to the point he was sure she did something. After some beers, a very hard talk, some tears and the promise, no matter what the result says to me and my bro, he will always be our dad. We made the DNA test. Both of us are his sons. My dad was so relieved, but then very embarrassed for having doubts of his wife's loyalty. He felt very ashamed, so we ended up agreeing, apologizing to her for what we did. As I started to talk of the DNA test, I asked to be the first to talk and apologize with her. That night, all of us gathered on my dad's house. We sat around the table and I started by recognizing all the fights and tension we had over the months and apologizing for it because, after all, she is my mother, but her behavior made us all wonder and I have a lot of doubts about why she was being like this. So I suggested all to go make a DNA test. Right after saying that, my mum went livid, and half a second later, her face went red, got up from the chair and threw at me, pulling my hair, scratching and hitting me, screaming, "Why you did this? I hate you. You had no right." My father and my mother had to separate her from me. She immediately started to ask for forgiveness to my dad. My dad was surprised and furious when he told her that I was about to apologize to her because the results said we were his sons. Her face was a mix of fear and desperation. Her reaction told us everything. I never saw my dad so angry. She confessed that long ago she had an affair for a long time till she got pregnant with me. She never knew if she got pregnant by my dad or by her lover, as they rarely used condoms and she multiple times let him finish inside. All these years she had doubts about who was my real father, and she pretended to take the secret to the grave. But now she exposed herself, and now all made sense. That was the reason she always treated me like this. That was why she always put everyone else's words before me. Dad threw her away that night, and in very little time, all the family knew about it. We warned them in case she tried to say any lies. Things that she hated, because she called us all saying we had no right to say anything, that she is our mother and we can't say anything against her. Or the aftermath. So, to conclude this craziness, I want a good amount of money. My brother is still my best friend. My relationship with my sister is damaged but healing, but she's separated from her toxic and misandrous friends. My ex is gone, I hope forever this time. Dad is hurt. Mum revealed to be a cheater, but they're not divorcing. She's back at my dad's home, but he hasn't forgiven her, and for what he said, he never will. But he don't want to go through a divorce or give her anything he had worked for. In his words, they're married, but they're not a couple, and she's now trying to earn my dad's forgiveness. And of course, my mum now openly hates me, because to her, I'm the cause of all her problems. In her words, if you had done what I had said and took charge of the kid, none of this would have happened. I hope you're happy now. And that's it. Sorry for the text war. Hope you all had a good 2023 and also wish you a good 2024. I will keep working, saving, and trying to build a life away from this madness. I've already cut contact with my mum, but I don't care at this point anymore. And Stray's mum quotes that saying, "My mum now openly hates me because to her I'm the cause of her problems," and then says, "It sounds like your mum had such a guilty conscience that she treated you like dirt all your life." Not that having that info makes any of her actions okay. Now she's blaming you for sticking up for yourself and bringing about her downfall. She did that all on her own. No contact would be best. I'm not sure if you should ever trust your sister again, though one can hope that she learned a lesson about believing people's BS. Watch your back. Opie says thanks. Unfortunately, all this BS made me more cynical and to not trust women now. So now I'm watching my back all the time. Kimmy says, "Whew, what a wild ride for you. I'm sorry you had to go through all that, and I'm glad it's over now. Hope the rest of your year continues to get better." Opie says thanks. Yes, it was a wild year. Another commenter says, "Goodness, your mum and sister are mental cases. Glad it's over. Hope your dad kicks her out though." Opie says my sister had been improving since everything ended. She still has a temper, but not as crazy as she used to. I hope that too, but dad doesn't want to divorce. Signata says, "Wonder if your sister is also your dad's." Opie says she is. They took a test after we knew about my mum's infidelity. She got mad at her for doing that. Signata replies saying, "So your mum was probably also cheating when your sister was conceived." Opie says she swears she stopped the affair after getting pregnant with me. Thick Elf says, "If she had stopped after having you, then she would have been fine with having your sister tested, even as a show of proof that she didn't continue the affair. Her hostility shows that she probably didn't stop the affair until after getting pregnant for a third time." Opie says she was angry at her for not taking her word as the only proof she would need. She claims that doing the test was a way to say, "I don't trust you, you're a liar, and accused her of not supporting me after I supported you during a lawsuit. But now, I'm going to turn this one straight to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Holy moly. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. Wow. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in despair, crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care. Nah, you just don't care. Nah,